So I am live, it says. Well, let me just have a check. So they use the blue and white colours. What a day. So, neuromonitoring, remote neuromonitoring. I mean, I've had a whole blinking night of it. I've got the evidence. You see, the target program. We have to do all this 7 p.m. Wow, I'm picking up the frequencies. 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 Wow. Even on mobile phones you're hacking. So you've got some kind of device that is honed in, even using satellites with the mobile phone towers, yeah, near it. There's another device being used. Yeah, straight away one logs in the NK Ultra UK phone hacked also. Right, the description basically UK2 here, used today, yet more evidence. Oh, they've used the pharmacy store manager. It's a blue and white theme today. Oh my god. So, what's with all the colour coordination? And the bloke was wearing a mask, coloured chap, in his 30s. And they said earlier, I got the call, evidence documented, written down, and recorded. And the film says, oh, I'll get a call when he's on the way. I thought to myself, oh, he's going to call me when he's driving in traffic. And of course, my phone was in my pocket. And of course, the call never got through to me. It just shows up as a missed call. So, just goes to show that no matter what you do. So, I noticed this the other day, right? The Wi-Fi wasn't on. And yet, the computer, when I woke up, was still like able to play an item on it. And that was needed an internet connection. So they've done something to the laptop, so it's hooked up to all the neighbours' internet. Most probably, who knows? We don't live in a world where there's any makes any sense anymore. Look, this is demonic. And that guy, I looked up earlier how much these people are earning per year with a big pharmaceutical company. Wow, per individual, they got 7,000 something employees, and just one individual as store managers on £45,000 a year. It makes you wonder where the public funds is going to with big farm industry in England with the contracts. So obviously this company is called Best Way Group. Its profits in banking, cement, warehouse distribution companies, and look, they got bloody lorries. They're holding back food in warehouses allegedly. So, and then they got stake, and guess who bailed? Well, not bailed out, but took over in England from the company. Used to be a very good company when it used to be run by co-op. Co-op pharmacy was very good. Their staff or employees were very bloody good. So 2015 got bought out. The banking, yeah, the beaming the frequencies out of the Wi-Fi on. I could pick it up. Let me see if I can hear it again. And the blood out the Wi-Fi on. I could pick it up. Let me see if I can hear it again. Oh, it's up now. Oh no, the frequencies are really strong. And the blood out the Wi-Fi on. I could pick it up. Let me see if I can hear it again. Oh, it's up now. Now, let me just see. I've got a monitor that picks up certain frequencies. Apart from the gaslighting at flat 3 and no visitors going on. It's all been going on round here today. Oh my gosh. So, Susie, though, I just keep a log. Oh, I've got to just have a little nibble. Oh my god. Oh my god. So the hallway stinks like a catfish. Really rinks because the carpet is actually ruined. And oh. Alright. Let me go to my notes. Best Way Group. Head office is in London, England. Best Way, the CEO for Best Way National Chemist Limited, company number 022 547 5457, yeah. And there's a new, what they call it, national pharmacy superintendent in Manchester, and everything's AI computerized, right? So I got this call recorded earlier. Well, I don't know how many calls are now since 1:30 today, and it's a delivery done, not to deliver the medication for my physical disabilities. And this company's local agents in my area has been gaslighting me since 2019 with this issue. And they would say, they would make sure their drivers would say, I'm not in when I am. So that would be one area. Then I'd be careful how I respond because I know what they're doing. And then to 2020, when UK was in a lockdown, in the first part of March, throughout that year really, the biggest gaslighting for the former, I don't know what job she's got now, she's a bad actor, didn't train her well, and she had her phone one day in her hand on the opposite side soap area before it's just turned into a nightmare, or what it is around here now. But and it's so obvious, and she's so young, and she's so inexperienced as an actor. So I knew what she was doing. And then what she would do, that period, report that I wasn't in when I am, or she deliberately won't turn up, or make an excuse, I'll deliver it on the way home. So today was just like a repetitive pattern of what's gone on before. Mm. And then, well, in June 2020 this year, that happened again, didn't it? So today, last Thursday to date. I knew what was going on. So you're not playing along with it. You're just being, just know not to say certain things. You just document it, keep a journal, keep a diary, keep a written log. And at the same time, psychological this is because they're demonic games on top. They have to they put a public servant vehicle right outside my kitchen window, so I'll see it. It's all intimidation tactics as well. It don't work on me because it is all part of this. It's unlawful harassment, totally. But the times we're living in, this is going to be nothing. If nobody has ever experienced this, you're going to be in for a shock. The ordinary members of the public, I won't know what's going to hit them when the military hits the streets to take over. Um, as I got hacked, I might as well had the internet off because I was just being badly hacked. Again, on the internet. And the websites I stumbled across, I can't. I know what they are, I know the information already, and I know what's planned. So, it's all about being prepared spiritually now. And if nobody has any faith, these demons that are running the earth, I mean, this goes back a long time. The black nobility. Has anybody heard of that? Black nobility. There's a gentleman over in Germany. He does blogs, he's done loads of videos, and his website is brilliant. And the history, it all links up, the dots links up. You really need to research if one wants to. And then what I noticed in the weather cameras is people on holiday for the beaches, especially in England, and they don't look up the skies and they don't see the toxicity. And when I found this blog earlier, I'm so tired. I just can't. The reading of it is a bit long-winded. I gave up, but I just thought I need to rest. But the toxicity's got into my body, I tell you that now. But the frequencies is what I'm picking up. Even without the Wi-Fi on. The tenseness of 5G, excuse me, the technology, you know, the buzzing, so flat 7, yeah, 2 undercover cops in there overnight. You know, in my conscious state, obviously awake at the moment, but I've got extreme, very good hearing on what they're doing when they use the technology on top of the MK Ultra. It's like it will come across like technology as tinnitus, but when you put sort of like a certain countermeasures and use that, you know, what is the end game of all this? You know, to target individuals, for individuals being targeted, harassment, gaslighted, setups, etc., etc. Because you have that awakening spirit, and that blog, when I read it, some of it, was obvious to me what's going on. For a long time, actually, before this worldwide, you know, health situation, shall we say. And it's been planned that the blog of globalist agendas of like something like out of a movie. But there it is, black and white, logging the dates from the 1700s, and then it goes back to the 12th century, the black mobility, family bloodlines, the bloodlines. I mean, why do you think they're testing for DNA, your DNA? Why do they always want to blood test for things? Why do, as soon as a child is born, they take it away from the parents, claiming they just got to do this or do that, you know? And when you unravel, it's like like a toilet roll, and you unravel layer by layer, it's like all exposed. And too many people, I read on a blog somewhere else, are waking up to the globalist agenda. Depopulation. How are they going to do it? I mean, you look at the history, goes back to, well, as I said, the timelines in this blog I was reading, how they've been doing this before my mother was born, before I was born. It's nothing new. They've just gone more high tech, very technical. Yeah. I knew I'd lose you there. Oh no, the frequencies are really strong. I'm a black out the Wi-Fi on. I could pick it up. Yeah. I knew I'd lose you there. Oh no, the frequencies are really strong. I'm a black out the Wi-Fi on. I could pick it up. Yeah. I'm going to check the weather camera now. Because I do have a gut feeling this also, and this individual. 1:30 today, a female claimed why I didn't get the delivery. I'm going back to that subject. A Manchester call centre says last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days. Yeah. What do you expect me to do? Fall down in a heap? No, I'm a survivor. So of course today I got a call back, and then somebody else leaves a voicemail message, and I thought, they just wanted my phone number. They had it on their computer system for years. It's the same phone number. And this is the first time since 2019 they bothered to use the phone number. And it's the first time they bothered to answer the phone. Oh. Because if you don't react to the planned script, and they can't react. I mean, I learnt this years ago with my late mum. You don't react in a mannerism of negative. No, I can't speak now. No, but I can't speak now. You're monitoring. No, seriously. You have to laugh about these things because you're only here once in this life. This physical existence. But there's a better life out there. It's spiritual. These demons. What's the worst thing they could do? They're not taking my soul. Oh no, I'm not an angel, but I will never sell out into the darkness. Never, ever. So yeah, there's nothing that can be put in your way. It seems like you'll never get through the trauma, the trials and tribulations of life, when they come all at once especially. Eventually you do. I'm living proof of that. Every day's a challenge. Oh yes it is. But you see, my late mum taught me a lot. Well, I didn't really appreciate it when I was younger. It takes a learning curve, and this situation, and many situations like this, to learn a lot. And there is going to be those, there's going to be so much people that are just not prepared for what's hitting them right between the eyes. Oh yeah. So, go on holiday, go to your pubs, go to your clubs, go and get what you need, do what your powers that be tell you what to do. And how long will it be before the transhumanism takes effect? It's a I find it very informative. Simulated reality YouTube channel, transhumanism. So, all this data, all this DNA, all the blood testing, I mean, this has been going on for a long time anyway, isn't it? So, nothing new. But it's more of an emphasis on it all now. Health, care, no matter where you are in the world. Because they want the brain. They want to chip the brain. They're experimenting on individuals without their consent. Oh, don't get me started, I tell you. They're selling this idea as something beneficial. And please don't get me wrong, I'm sure it is. For those that could do the chip, to help them walk, to help do power, bedbound, they cannot move their bodies, they can move things to this technology inside them with the brain interlinked with these devices in them. And everything medical is going that way. Smart this and smart. I saw someone's post on alternative media today. It made me laugh. And it's so right, because you're going to need a QR code for everything. If you're walking your dog, this guy really did such a really good take on the way the life is at the moment and the future. And it's these sci-fi movies, it's just like telling you in your face what the heck to be prepared for. But no, in a serious note, do we really need to live in a world where everything is monitored? Where the humanity, where the we get toxified. If it's not the environment, if it's not the air, if it's not the weather, if it's not this, that and the other, I mean, so the negativity side is what they want to keep your vibrations low. So, people have heard about CERN, CERN. I'm not an expert in geography, where that based. And then you've got a harp. And then it's like that opening of this portal to these demonic spirits to come in, entities. But the fallen angels are already on Earth. Been here a long time, mixing, years ago, wasn't it? Who's expert in scriptures out there? Mixing with human DNA to create hybrids. Oh yeah. To create hybrids. But though, you stop and start, if anyone watches telly, you stop and start, say for example, a news item, a live news item, all recorded, and just watch body language. Really study the eyes. And you'll see so much. And the hands. But you see, the Masonic lodges, Masonic fraternity, a lot of these individuals, they think they're joining something innocently to further their social interactions and businesses, perhaps. And the longer term of it all, once they get to a certain degree level, before this is it, no turning back. Because you've given your soul to Satan. You sold your soul out. So unfortunately, a lot of these people, right, they said, well, if you don't join this program, do this and do that, then we'll do all the same to you or your family, or your loved ones. And if you get confronted with that ultimatum, they've got to make a decision. They set out their own family member or save themselves. I got sold out by my brother. I was only younger at the time. Put me in the program a long time ago to experiment on. I stood out from the crowd, didn't I? I witnessed so much abuse by my elder brother. And what the heck did they do to my ex-army, British Army brother? They messed him up a lot. He knows a lot of stuff, all this technology. He knows, I know he knows. And the way he treated my mum over the years. He never wanted to. It wasn't the funeral as well. You see, you can't really say much about the funeral because I know. I've got photos, I've got videos. I don't post them, I just kept them private. I've got evidence. My whole DNA family members, you see, and even my nephews and nieces. You just cannot. It's like, really? I didn't know how extensive this program is and how much investment goes into it. And sadly, though, my sister, she's always been a sweetheart. She has, before she got married. She got married to please my mother. She wanted to be kept. She wanted to be inclusive. She's always wanted a big family, and that's her business. But sadly, she married too young. She really did. I knew my older half-sister was the right age to get married. But it was matchmaking. There's a song in that, I can't remember it. But the matchmaking, I've got off subject at the moment, but it all links in because my mum was in the program. This technology has been around for a long time, and I'm sure to goodness my late gran was too. But you see, they forget. My DNA. That's what I was on about. The DNA, the Jesus, the biblical Christian faith goes back a long, long time ago. And you see, I can see why people are atheists. Because when you dig deep into the Bible versions, and there's other things I know about. So there's certain. It's just all about within, your mind, body, and soul connecting together. And what they're trying to do is get into the frequency around the body, the aura, at the back of the head, top of the head, around your glands. I studied all this natural chakras and all this new age and all these natural remedies for years. So they like to target the feet. You wouldn't believe my feet and what they do with that. People just, take pictures and stuff, and I don't. I know. This is just a vessel The physical body is just a vessel. So it depends if you want to live your life and in sin. What is sin? S-I-N. Could mean different for different people. But unfortunately, there are guardian angels. I swear to goodness there are. Beautiful. Pure. Pure nature. And if you're at the worst time in your physical existence in life, it's the rarest opportunity comes out of nowhere, and it just suddenly lifts up your soul, your spirit, your essence, and it doesn't always last, but it's just a reminder that the persecution, unlawful persecution on this physical existence, is only temporary, you know, and you still need to be careful about false prophecies. And I've seen so many portraying to be, people are so looking for answers and looking for solutions, and it's easy to go to personalities that portrays, especially online, and there's certain couple of people, and it does say watch out for false prophecies and false prophets, but the fear, you see, anxiety, fear, all this sort of like negativity, all these everyday sort of like experiences is to get the vibrations right, and so the demonic entities can actually do their work, get your vibrations low, attack you even more, and the technology on top. And then you forget sleep, you're not sleeping, you're not eating properly, and then the gaslighting and everything else. It's like a spinning ball. Don't seem to stop until you learn about certain things. And it's a process. At the moment, it's quite intriguing to actually see people at different stages of awakening, and the globalist elites, the Club of Rome, Committee 300, and it goes further back than that, and throughout their bloodlines and their family DNA, it is not run by who you think it is, this world, and on the physical, practical everyday, because people are just trying to survive and make a living the way the world is, and if they've got families, they've got kids, they're going to do what they've got to do to survive. And yeah, the ultimate is like the Hunger Games, the program out there, and hunted down. And there is a darkness on this earth, and is out of the public eye. Real darkness. And sick stuff that does go on, really does. And I do not whistleblow. I'm not one of those. I will not go into anything like that. I just leave it for others. And I know people that sold their souls out. I know so much of what really goes on. Sometimes I wish I didn't know half as much, because at least I do now. And the reason why I didn't go down the same path as my own family members, because I was just not going to just be told. I wasn't one to follow orders. I was just being independent. And this is where they've got to experiment on people. If you're a free thinker, you're independent minded, you're strong minded, they've got to go at you harder. Oh yes. Oh yes. But no. And this is where, what's the time? 10 to 8. forgiveness is...
Here comes Apple Music.
Forgiveness is very... Well, I did eat some food then. So I would look at the end times versus demons, and you could hear how I was being... I'll play that in the background.
Yeah, I'm probably going outside. I'll report it. Yeah, just...
Yes, so
I don't think it's that one.
see it with my own eyes as a thing, you know, and it just makes my skin crawl. And then, yeah, so...
Yeah. That was being physically assaulted. The sound, and that is not a natural sunrise. 14 hours ago. What are sounds? What kind of individual sleeping? What natural sleeping is that? It's not. I know what that was about, because I didn't get to sleep till 5 o'clock this morning. But I'm not going to replay that at some point.
Even here, if you listen, you'll hear exactly what I'm saying. Because I believe that we have to be as wise as serpents in these end times and as harmless as doves. Because that is what our Father asked us to do. He understood exactly what was going to happen in this time frame that we're in. None of the things that are going on right now take him by shock at all. The only thing that he requires for us to do is to take his sword, which is the word, and to apply it to our daily lives so that it can come to fruition. And by it, I mean the word can come to fruition in our natural lives. Now, how does it do that? Well, the way that it does it is as we work out and look through the scriptures to find out exactly where we are in the timeline, all we got to do is right now get ready, take care of ourselves. Make sure that we do exactly what he tells us to do. We cannot look to the right nor to the left, but we have to keep our eyes on him. And so you will see that my approach is a bit different than hers, obviously because of our background, but we were hand in hand. We spoke all the time. I have a video that I'm going to play for you right now, which was done immediately after she passed away. And I want you all to see it. Now, obviously, my subscribers have seen it. And I'll just be babysitting over here, okay? I'm going to be watching the channel. I'll be making sure that we do uploads. I will have to work smarter and not harder. And by that, I mean I will do lives here, because I feel like some of the information that I'll be disseminating to my standard channels, and I do have 2 that I'm working with now of my own personal channels, I think it would possibly benefit you as well. And so I don't want to leave anyone here outside the loop. I don't want to leave this empty shell because my sister was full of life. And so I want the channel to be exactly the same way. So with that said, we're going to get into a video actually, that I made for her immediately, actually a couple of days after her passing. And I want you all to watch this so that you now see who I am. And then what I do is,
scientists have discovered some people have a secret bathroom habit that keeps them effortlessly thin. Even
please allow me to show you who I am, and we in turn together will be able to get to know each other. I do talk to people, having been a trainer and all that stuff, and a teacher, obviously being in the Word, I like to talk to folks and I like to touch people when I can. And I do answer requests. So I have an email address. And if you want me to, stand in the gap for you or your family, again, we're not the same. My background is ministry. And so that's how I move. And so I ask that you all just be patient. But with that said, we're going to get right into the video right now. And this was done a few days after she passed on. Very difficult times, but we're going to go ahead and listen together. Thanks again for your patience, everyone. And here's my tribute to my sister friend, Bettina Ursula Brancato. Okay, here you go. Lack of perspective. Cologne is a very old cathedral city on the River Rhine and is one of the most important commercial and cultural centers in Western Germany. Famous for its 12 great Romanesque churches to include the magnificent Cologne Cathedral, Cologne can trace its roots back to the 1st century AD when it was established as a Roman provincial capital and military stronghold. Evidence of Cologne's history are Roman remains, medieval churches, Baroque palaces, and museums, some of which reflect its darker times in the mid-20th century. For me, its most notable shining ray of light is knowing it's the birthplace of one of America's most powerful voices of patriotism, Bettina Ursula Brancato, appropriately known as Nancy Morgan Hart of the now famed Headlines with a Voice. Bettina would leap into the hearts of patriots across America with her unabashed love for the American Constitution and its people. Born September 3, 1962, Bettina was the eldest of 3 children born to her mother of Germany and her father from Italy. As a child, Bettina showed promise early, as exemplified by learning the English language within 1 year of moving to the United States. And as a young adult, Bettina's love for the English language would help her excel, as her writing and editing skills would be used by those in the legal field. Her favorite pastimes were collecting fiestaware. As well, she made some of her own pottery as displayed here. Bettina was the wife to John, the mother to Kyle, Filberto, and Sophia, as well as her fur baby Gertrude. She was a friend to Roy Potter, Monograph, and to me, Felicia Lockhart, just to name a few. She will be missed, but her words, her work, and her voice will live on. Rest in paradise, Bettina. Headlines with a Voice, Nancy Morgan Hart. So that was my tribute to her. Now I know that, you know what, you guys, I'm going to say something. I saw a couple of comments, and I do want to go over a couple of those right now. But what I want to, Kung Fu Two-Toe, baby, are you okay? It's going to be all right, okay? It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. I understand that this is sort of difficult for a lot of folks because, I get in my own niche as well. You know what? I'm going to go on ahead and, wow. You know what, Kung Fu Two-Toe? I wish you were. Now that we have things a little bit more stable here, we are going to make sure that we attempt to bring you everything that my sister friend did. Now, for most of you, you may know or you may not know, My dear sister, Bettina, also known as Nancy Morgan Hart, passed away very suddenly, where we were not expecting it. None of us were expecting it. She and I were very close, and I think she knew that something was going to happen because starting ramping up about 3 years ago, she started saying things like, if anything would ever happen to me, I want you to pick up and take off. Now, look, she and I are nothing alike. I mean, we're both very conservative. We both love our country. We're both very patriotic. But my girl hit from the hip. Okay, I went to Bible college and graduated and got licensed and ordained and all that stuff. And so my approach was generally a little softer than hers was, but it was very needful, and her approach was very powerful and very matter of fact. Now she and I are both very matter of fact, and matter of fact, our birthdays are just about 7 days apart. But with that said, no one can be her. Nobody. And I personally feel that since I just, I did the one little video the other day just to sort of make as an icebreaker. But then I read some of the comments, and I can see that a lot of people are a little confused. And I thought, you know what? With all your years of sales and marketing, perhaps you should consider making an introduction. And so we do have a Monday event that I do pretty much every now and then we'll do it on a Mondays, and it's like a news roundup. And so when I put that up, I saw a few people make a comment, and one person, and rightfully so, they says, gee,
the book Song of Songs.
does.
State and federal officials are scrambling to find alternate routes to deliver gasoline in the southwest U.S. after a hack of the nation's largest fuel pipeline led to panic buying. That weekend, it could create broader fuel disruptions. The Colonial Pipeline, which delivers about 45% of what is consumed on the East Coast, was hit on Friday with a cyber attack by hackers who last year when America 7 million people to travel at least 50 miles from home.
Want to start an online store quickly with
There's still fires in Turkey. Near monitoring.
Yeah, man. So, gonna make this on two cameras. One live, one I'm just making the video because they keep shutting my videos off every time I'm trying to make a video now. So, what to expect? So I just got off work and made me something to eat, man. Went to Walmart and waited in line and got me some stuff and came home and made something to eat. And then a lot of stuff's been happening today, so I want to go ahead and talk about all of that and just what to expect in general. If you become a targeted person on remote neural monitoring, okay, and so how that happens in the first place, you will probably wonder, how could that even happen? Well, apparently, absolute fact, there is a system. There's a satellite broadcast system, and the infrastructure for that is EMF, which is the electromagnetic field of Earth, and seems like a bunch of hackers and dope heads and just people in general, it could be anybody, has gained access to this system through the internet. All right, so once they gain access to the system, they get possession of their own frequency of their. Every person has a unique EMF signature, so they get their frequency, their account. I assume it's like an account with a profile with all the settings and the different things that you can. You're welcome. You're welcome. I do this. Hold on. There's like an account, and it is like, just picture it like a social media, like your Facebook or something else, okay? But aside from everything else, there's all these settings for broadcast, and it could be artificial telepathy stuff, and it could be, broadcast. Do you want to broadcast, and do you want your hologram that you're connected to and living as to be Santa Claus? Do you want it to be the Grinch? Do you want it to be yourself? Or do you want to be a flying moth this big that looks like a wombat Batman mini thing? Okay, you could choose that. If you wanted to choose that thing, you could choose that thing. You could choose to be a snake. Okay, you could choose to be something that flies. You could choose to be, most of the time, okay, typically people broadcast as themselves, as their own self, an image, a hologram broadcast image of themselves, and they're able to connect to that on mind control, wearing like a headset and possibly some other stuff, okay? But, to be on mind control, no, they don't have to have the headset, and that's a more advanced thing. To live as a broadcast, to be a broadcast, and to have it be, full blown, like the full experience, I think that's when they really have to have the headset. Okay, otherwise, I think they can do a lot receiving people that they're connected to, and I know that they can use artificial telepathy without the headset. I use it with them. Okay, I just don't have control over the settings. They choose the settings. So if I had access to it, then I would be able to choose my own settings and avoid all the torture and the negative aspects of this thing that people, they get together and they use this as a weapon, and they are known as gang stalkers. And it's because there's gangs of them that stalk through EMF broadcasts and neural monitoring and know what you think and can see what you see and live as you, or live as a broadcast and follow you around, attack you, and all sorts of things. But it's kind of messed up because so many people are starting to have access to this, and okay, let me answer your question or respond to your comment. You said thank you for giving so much information. In 2015, when this was going full blast for me, with gang stalkers talking to me every day, and a bunch of people doing stuff, follow me around, everything. And it's a thing where they can put your profile on public. And when it's on public, then people that are somewhere else, that don't know you, that don't know much about your situation or anything, they can just see that, this person's in my area, they're targeted, okay, let me check them out. Oh, whoa, this is that guy that does those videos and all this, so let's go mess with him, And so then you got public random people that are part of the gang stalking. All right, and it's all through neural monitoring, and they all can collaborate on the site. It's just you access neural monitoring, and then you've got access to all of that. I know from experience that is definitely how it works. So when they put you on public, and I've had some wild run-ins with people in public, and so for the most part, I think they keep my thing off of public, and then a few select people do live streams. Okay, now somebody, I know in my case who, but somebody has access and control of your neural monitoring, meaning like a possession, like they possess your account. All right, it's yours. You could get it, but you got to get it, and to get it, I'll get to that. But they possess your account, and it's a lot like human trafficking or even slavery, because somebody can own your neurological control panel that is within this account, and at that point, that gives them a power over you and over your life. And it gives them, if you're an interesting person, it gives them an asset. You become an asset and something that they feel like they own. And so they can run these live streams, EMF broadcasts, and they'll collaborate with whomever they want to. Okay, in my case, I got about 4 or 5 people that come on my channel every single day. And I know who several of them are, and some of them I just know because they've been on my channel every day for like 6, 7 years. So you begin to know them after a year or so. You know them pretty well, even if you never really run into them in real life. You know them through, their personalities. They can do different voice settings, but you still know it's them because you know their personality, and you can feel you can sense them. Okay, it is a mind control system. It's a broadcast system, and for example, if somebody's talking to you with artificial telepathy, you hear it out loud, but nobody else can hear it. But at the same time as hearing it, you can feel it. You can feel it physically, and then on top of that, like, they don't really have to say it. Sometimes they think what they're going to say, and you get it. And then they start to say it, you hear it out loud, but you really already know. Sometimes they're talking and you want to talk along with them, word for word for word. It's like a mind control, and you have to learn how to break off from that. And it might make you feel like an idiot. It does me. If they're talking, if I talk along with them, I feel like an idiot. So I'm like, I get mad at myself, like. So those are some of the things you can expect. Artificial telepathy does not have to be talking. They can make it sound like they're drilling holes in the wall to install the camera system. That's not even necessary, so they don't have them. Okay? They don't have cameras in your house. They'll use your phone, the camera on your phone and your devices, yeah. Yeah, they will. They don't need to. They don't have to. They can get everything that they need right from broadcast. They can broadcast, a signal to a reflective surface around you and receive that back and see you from that reflection. They can live as a hologram broadcast and be standing next to you, looking at you, and you think, oh, let me hide my password. Like, yeah, right. They know what you're thinking. Okay, they know what you're thinking. And it's a thing I do. I start thinking of things, like a whole scenario in my head, in my mind. I'll think of things, and then like do little jingles and all kinds of stuff while I'm doing my password. And make the password the second or third layer of my thought process at the time, just to make it more difficult for them. They get it, and they can see it. They can watch your screen and watch it go in, but it's just anything I can do to make it more difficult for them. But what they're doing really is turning me into a multitask, layered thought process Jedi. That's what they're really doing. I've been dealing with this since 2014. I started dealing with hacking in 13, a little bit of broadcast stuff in 14. 15, it became full-blown with a whole group of them. And I've been on public before. I've had so many different gang stalkers on my channel before. I happen to know quite a few people that have access to neural monitoring, and they could just come on and use, as long as they can clear it with the person that has control and possession of my neural monitoring, which I'm pretty sure they bought it sometime prior to 2013. I think they bought it, and they also bought my family's, and they were in the position to do so, and they did that. And since then, they probably made a lot of money because each gang stalker that's doing live streams on my channel is making money. And that's how they make money. They do
Wow.
EMF broadcast live streams. They stay on mind control. They live as broadcast. They're doing all of this on the internet. They're doing all of this connecting to your device, hosting a virtual machine or modifying some sort of application on your device, giving themselves some permissions and administrative authorities, and then they're using basically they're using APIs doing like HTTP requests in the background on stuff like Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, Google, all of those things. They can be in the background doing all sorts of API calls, HTTP request stuff, and I know for a fact that that's the truth because I found that kind of stuff going on. I've done videos with that kind of stuff going on live, and some of the results are pretty conclusive. Okay, absolute 100% conclusive. All right, so you can look back at my videos on some of that, and I'm gonna try to do a better job at linking some of my videos to the other videos that are relevant. So a lot of people get things really confused because it's a very confusing thing. It's a confusing technology because people that are not where you are can talk to you and see you and know what you're thinking. And it's very bizarre, okay? Now, all of that aside, what are some other things that they do? Well, a lot of them are involved with porn. A lot of them are involved with mind control, orgies type of stuff, where they all get on mind control together, and it's like a hive mind thought process. And if you're experiencing a bunch of gang stalkers talking to you all day, every day, and they're bugging you, and they're on your channel, you're already in the hive. Okay, so don't think they're like, whoa, how would that be? Think, was that my thought, or was that not my thought? Because you have to learn to decipher those things because it's not always your own thoughts that run through your mind when you're connected to other people. Now, they get a full-blown signal with the mind control right into their mind, you know, and so when you think something, it's in their mind as if they thought it. So they get it. They just get it, you know. They don't have to hear it. You could talk to them out loud, and they'll hear you. But you can think to them, too, and then there's different levels, you know. Like, if you just think your thought real subtle, they just get it. If you think it out like you're saying it or writing it, then they say it because you're mind controlling them because they're on mind control with you. If you think it out clear enough, like you're writing it out in your mind, you know, it just depends on your level of imagination, and you got to decipher the different levels of, do I want to hear this idiot say my words, my thoughts back to me? No. I don't want to mind control him to say my thoughts back to me, so let me just think this real subtly, and you know, if he wants to repeat it, he can repeat it like an idiot. But if I just say it, if I'm just think it real quick, then they just get it. And that's kind of how I communicate with the ones that I'm dealing with now after some years and years. But so what else can they do? They can live as broadcast. So when they're living as a broadcast, you can see broadcast in your photos. If you do editing, they can lay flat on you like a drawing, like a tattoo almost. It's not that easy to see, but you can see it, especially in certain circumstances. But they can just be flat on you like a drawing, all right? Or they can rise right up out your skin and be standing there like a 3D hologram, jump off you and run off. Swear to God. I swear to God. This is years and years of experience dealing with these gang stalkers using EMF broadcasts. They can do that, okay? Now, all right, if I'm a gang stalker and you're a gang stalker, all right, we both have access to our neural monitoring, then you and I can decide and agree, let's connect to each other, all right, and then we make that connection on the settings, on the neural monitoring, on the internet, okay? So then from there, the way it works is I would have a monitor on you, okay, a broadcast. I would be able to keep a broadcast on your physical person, and you would have one on me, okay? And that could be less invasive, if it was consensual. Otherwise, like, you start doing stuff like they do to me, attacking my body and things, like, you're gone. I'm turning you off, bro. We'll never connect again. Okay? And that's how it would be. So, some of the things that they do with broadcasts that I would consider torture and violent harassment, assault, sexual assault, and even attempted murder on occasion. They may attack your heart. You can feel it. And with their broadcast, they can literally live in as that broadcast, just wave the hand through your heart. Okay, and you're like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Feels like you're being electrocuted. Okay, what they're doing to me a lot lately is with the broadcast, they'll just like post up a little miniature broadcast and like stand in the corner of my eye and like flap my eyelashes, and you can feel it. So there must be some level of matter with a broadcast, with the EMF broadcast, because it's not just some electron that flows that you can't feel at all or you can't see, because sometimes you can see it and you definitely can feel it. And the crazy thing about it is, right, they know that that they're doing these things, and they're living as a broadcast. All right, a lot of times when they're living as a broadcast, they're in this what they call being catatonic. It's like a subconscious sleep state, and some more than others act more subconsciously. And I guess it's a good way to figure out how people are, because if you ever knew somebody who was like blackout drunk or like ate too many Xanaxes or something, and they're just like say whatever and there's no filter, all right, and they might say something horrible right in your face, like that they would never say, or act out in some kind of way and end up going to jail or whatever. Like, people that act crazy, okay, when people get on broadcast, it's like that. So if they hate you, if they're jealous or whatever, like, you could tell, it's very obvious how they feel about things. Okay, if they envy you and they really want to be you, want to be like you, but they hate you because they're not, and they don't want to put in any kind of effort to try to be better at life or anything else. So they just take it out on you and hate you. And I might have 2 or 3, 4, 5, 10 gang stalkers as broadcast and like hanging around there, attacking my face, crawling in my mouth. You taste electricity, it'll rot your teeth out, crawling in and out of your eyes, messing with your eyes, getting in your eyesight, very blurry, cause like a decline in your quality of vision over time. They could reach in and start messing with your tendons, or like that make you feel like your bones are being electrocuted.
Yeah.
They could also physically burn the surface of your skin, and I imagine that they could probably burn the internal parts of your body as well. There's only so much they can do without it being obvious that these things are happening. And now we're starting to get this thing where people are talking about it on the news and whatever, like direct energy weapon attack, 17 people, this and that injured or whatever. Maybe that's what's going on, but I completely doubt it. Okay, it would be an amazing feat for any entity, country, military, anything, to get a direct energy weapon into our area and be able to use it on a bunch of people in some public place without getting caught. Okay, it would be the most amazing feat ever. Okay, but what you're dealing with is a satellite broadcast. You're dealing with weaponized satellites, and you have to look at it logically. You can't say this technology is evil because they're using it as a weapon. All right, because I could definitely go run over some people in my truck, and then if I did it intentionally and wanted to hurt people and did that, that would be a weaponized truck. And obviously we all got trucks and cars, but a thing that people build and control is not a weapon unless you use it as a weapon, and most things can be used as a weapon in some way if we decide to use them that way. So don't blame the technology, and don't think for a second that the technology is going away and that we're going to end up with bans on on mind control technology. It's just going to get more and more,
Yeah.
and people are going to start to be grouped into different little hives and colonies and stuff, I think, in the future. And it's going to be a revolution. The mind control revolution is definitely on the way. The fact that these guys are doing this with EMF broadcast, and to so many people, like thousands and thousands of people everywhere is having this happen now, and it's just a matter of time now before they say, whoa, okay, you know, jig is up. Everybody knows that we're got this pirated technology that people can use to attack you, and so we're going to have to try to make some people be accountable and look into some things, because there's just an overwhelming number of people that are affected by this on the daily, every day, okay? Meanwhile, how did they even get this technology?
Exactly.
So I used to say this. I used to say, okay, because I was going off of what I could conclude off of what I knew, okay? But I would say, hey, you know, they must, you know, scan you in. They put a broadcast on you from while they're already on it, and they scan you in. I was thinking they must scan you in. And I'm pretty sure I was wrong about that, because now, as time has went on, and my perception and understanding has grown with this whole thing, and it's, you won't find somebody that understands this better than me, because I've been dealing with it so long, and I've 6,500 videos and 15,000, SoundCloud things, and a lot of them was me talking before I ever started YouTube. But my understanding is deep. It's a deep understanding of things. Okay, so what I'm fairly sure of, probably 99.9% sure of now, is that every person on this planet is onto this neural monitoring system. You all have a unique EMF signature frequency in this satellite broadcast system of many thousands of satellites and a flawless infrastructure surrounding the whole globe, the EMF, electromagnetic field of Earth. And every person has a, hey, I understand how to do this though. Boom. Go make a new account, bro. So, they hate it. You know, these gang stalkers, they hate it when somebody like me, when I come out and I say all the real stuff, because it bugs them, because they want to keep people enslaved, captive, enslaved, and own people, so they can do EMF broadcast live streams, and so they can know everything that's going on and have control and access to everybody and everything and over everything. Okay? And that's not how the world's going to be working. Okay, until they kill me and send me to Mars, all right, I'm going to be right here on Earth telling everybody everything that I find out. All right, so what I found out is that unborn babies are already on remote neural monitoring. As soon as your frequency becomes available for this satellite broadcast system to pick up that frequency, then at that point you are on remote neural monitoring in the system. I've also heard this, and I can't verify this, but I've heard that on your neural monitoring, it would, like if you're a man, it would also show your guys, you know, like all of them, like however many of them are in there. Okay, so if you got 20,000 little frequencies in there, they all come up on the neural monitoring. Okay, and that's what I've heard from a couple different people that are gang stalkers. Not so much the hardcore ones. They don't really tell you nothing. But I do know some people that have access to neural monitoring that that I don't think are gang stalkers. And until I find out exactly what the circumstances are, I cannot fault them or not fault them in watching all of this type of torture go on around the world everywhere without taking some steps to try to help people. I know it's really none of my business if you're on remote neural monitoring. It's not my problem. But I've lived through it for seven some years, and it was already happening before I just didn't know it. And so, excuse me, I've been going through it for a long time. I know how horrible it is, and so I got a different perspective on that. But hey, I don't know. Maybe you get it, and Illuminati tells you that if you tell anybody that's targeted, we're going to flip the heart stop switch. All right, you got it. You'll be gone. All right, so I don't know what the circumstance is, and maybe that's the circumstance, but probably not. It seems to be a free-for-all with these gang stalkers. And so I can tell you this about gang stalkers in general. They are definitely doing EMF broadcast live streams is their thing. That's what they do. They run it on your apps. They run it on your devices. They run it on your accounts, on your networks. They run it in the background. So some of the things that they have going on is they're running on localhost. They have like the languages like PHP and stuff like that enabled, so everything can come up on the internet and they get the full internet. They've also they got DNS service like Cloudflare or OpenDNS. They don't use regular DNS. They use something like that. I've seen people doing some things like something about like PHP.net, like something, and it was like connected or like the all caps connect. So the way I see it is, this is what they're using. They're using all of this stuff like servers and FTP servers and all the different languages, and FTP is file transfer protocol. So that's one of the ways that they'll put out their stuff is through direct file transfer only, rather than putting it on the internet. A lot of the stuff that they have on the internet is hosted on their own server or local host, where they've used Apache server, Apache CTL start in the command line, and runs your regular computer as a server, and then you enable PHP, and then you can process all of that, and it opens up a lot more things with the internet. You want to learn about APIs. Definitely want to learn a lot about APIs. You want to learn about the privacy and security protocols like the SSL and HTTPS, and even the more advanced ones, because those are the things that they do and that is important to them, and they seem to be able to hack into almost anything. And I know they definitely have an advantage with living as a broadcast and having like a virtual machine hosted on your device, and they have some connectivity as a broadcast. They're just able to be around you as a broadcast and connect. So those things are what they do. So I can see that it's obviously something that's going to have to be important to me, whether I like it or it's my thing or whatever. It's going to have to be important because that's what they do, and I need to be able to do what they do to stop them from doing it to me. And so it highly revolves around computer programming and network protocol and programming, and you have to learn those things, and it's just part of it. And so being a hacker is pretty simultaneous with being a gang stalker. But as I said, there is some people that don't have gang stalking tendencies that I'm pretty sure that have access. I know that have access. Okay, they have their own neural monitoring, and a lot of people do. It's something that many people are starting to get all the time, every day. People are getting their neural monitoring, and you have to be in depth on the internet. You need to know how to read source code. You need to know how to program your network protocols with scripts, and you need to know how to write in these languages, and you need to know how servers and all this different stuff works, and SQL and everything, all of it. You just got to become, and it's the way we're headed anyway. Your digital self is think about it. Some of you know, maybe you're off the grid. You think you are. You're off the grid because you're out the game, but they're still doing all this stuff to you. You just don't have any access to do anything about it if you've taken yourself off the grid. So no, I wouldn't delete my Facebook. No, I wouldn't get off of my cell phone. I'd keep all of my stuff, but I'd get on a desktop and start learning how to control everything and how to keep everything secure, and that's the main thing. They do have some advantages being able to live as a broadcast, but overall, I think in time, maybe a year, 2, 3 at the most, maybe you could be masterful enough with programming and networks and stuff to make sure that you're not targeted and probably gain possession of your own neural monitoring, and it's just something that we got to do. So otherwise, you could be dealing with this for the rest of your life. If they can keep you enslaved and make money off of you forever, they will. Some of them are very violent, even knowing that this is eventually coming out, that they've been doing this. Like, I got some guys that attack my head, my eardrums, touch me with broadcasts, like penetrate into my skull. Feels like my brain's being shocked. Okay. And no, that's not why I say all this bizarre stuff. This stuff's been happening. Okay, this stuff's been happening. I've been talking about it. So as soon as they started talking to me, even before then. Okay, and I did a video this morning on how to record the artificial telepathy and some facts about it that you should keep in mind when you really have to understand that these things are signals rather than sound waves. All right, and it is a
Tucson Heavy Industries and Construction works with power plants all over the world, even now. As long as those plants are in operation, we cannot stop working.
Gold Green presents Kirloskar Remote Monitoring System. Gold Green Gensets comes with complete remote monitoring control. Being in control of your own genset certainly has a winning edge. Kirloskar Remote Monitoring System links your genset with a central monitoring data server through GSM network. The complete monitoring application with all the critical indicators can be viewed on your laptop or mobile on the go from anywhere in the world. Kirloskar Remote Monitoring System is designed...
Looks like you want McDonald's from Just Eat. Yes? Well, no worry.
As he mentioned, my name is Misha Sra, and today I'm going to talk about something that most all of us are using right now, and I don't mean your phones. I'm going to talk about your ears. So in 1790, Alessandro Volta, he had just invented the battery, and he put the electrodes in his ears and then promptly passed out. And right before he passed out, he said he felt the sensations of spinning. And most likely that sensation was from vestibular stimulation, which is what I'm going to talk about over the next several minutes. Right before I get into it, let's take a moment to think about balance. Balance is something most of us take for granted, right? Most of us can easily walk across a gravel path. We can transition from walking on a sidewalk onto grass, back onto the sidewalk, and we don't really have to think about it. People don't normally stumble doing those things. Now, maintaining balance requires that the brain receive information from three main sources. You need information from your visual system, so data coming in from the eyes. You need information from your proprioceptive system, which is your muscles and your joints. And as an example of proprioception, some of you want to follow along, or all of you, if you hold out your fingers just like that in front of your face, close your eyes, and touch the tip of your nose with your finger and eyes closed. And most everybody can do that with some amount of success, right? And that's because of your sense of proprioception, this inner sense that we have. So the third thing the brain needs is information from your vestibular system or your inner ear. So what exactly is going on inside your ear? Turns out a whole lot. The sensory information about motion, about equilibrium, about spatial orientation, all of this information goes from your vestibular system to your brain. And in each ear, you have what constitutes the vestibular system, which is what I just highlighted with that rectangle. It's three semicircular canals that are at right angles to one another, and they take care of detecting rotational movement. And then you have the utricle and the saccule. Those take care of detecting gravity as well as linear movement. It's kind of like the gyroscope and the accelerometer working in your phone. It's the same kind of system, and it's a pretty amazing system. So the semicircular canals are filled with a fluid called the endolymph. And at the base of each canal is a cupula and some hair bundles inside it. So if you look on the right side of the image, when the person rotates, the fluid gets sloshed around. And when the fluid moves, the hair moves. And then the hair sends a signal to the brain telling what's happening, right? And then there's three semicircular canals. There's essentially the anterior canal, which detects motion like this, like head nodding. There's posterior canal, which detects motion like a head tilt towards your shoulders. And then there's the lateral canal that detects motion like a swivel, your head going side to side. The utricle and the saccule, they work slightly differently. They have tiny calcium carbonate crystals, kind of like tiny bones, that are floating on top of the gel membrane, inside of which there's again hair bundles. And so when you look at the person bending over to pick up a box, the bones get pulled down because of gravity. And they pull the gel membrane along, and then the hair gets pulled along. And again, the hair sends a signal to the brain saying, all right, this is what's happening. So the utricle largely sits horizontally in your head. And that's how it detects movement in this plane. Things like moving forward, side to side. The saccule sits vertically in your head. And so it detects movement in the vertical plane. Things like sitting down or standing up. When all of this works, people can do some really amazing things with balance, right? But what happens when things don't work right? What happens if the signals that are going to the brain just don't line up? Well, that's when you get motion sickness, right? So motion sickness essentially is a mismatch of signals that are sent to the brain from your eyes and your ears. And I imagine a lot of people have experienced this here. When you're reading a book in a moving car, your ears are telling the brain, I'm moving. But your eyes are telling the brain, nope, we're not moving. Because you're essentially static relative to the car seat, the floor beneath your feet. And so it's this disagreement between those two signals that triggers nausea and vomiting, right? Same thing happens in virtual reality. Like VR, as it exists right now, essentially depends on visual information. And so the possibilities of what we can see in VR, practically endless. However, what we can feel in VR is very limited, right? Most of the time, you just feel like you're standing in your living room or sitting on your couch, even though you may be flying or swimming or doing all sorts of things in VR. Now, what if we could make you feel this motion? What if we could fix motion sickness? That's exactly what we did when we built a vestibular stimulation device. It basically is a small wearable that can automatically sense when to provide you the right type of feedback when you're in VR. The way it works is that we place electrodes behind each ear, and then we hook up the device to a small battery, and then we stimulate the nerves that I talked about earlier, the nerves that go from your inner ear to your brain. We stimulate them with a small amount of current, something like maybe 1 milliamp. So electrically stimulating the vestibular system is called galvanic vestibular stimulation, or GVS. We tested our device, we tested GVS in a VR roller coaster experience. You can imagine what a VR roller coaster might feel like. And in this case, it went from a vomit fest to something that people actually found thrilling and exciting. People were like, I want this in my home, I want to do it all the time. And they said that they could feel every turn of the roller coaster in their body. Something that they'd expect to feel on a real roller coaster. Another thing we can do in VR, which is what I started to talk about, is remote control people. Basically, how can we steer people using GPS? And if you watch in the video, the person actually intends to walk straight, but they end up turning quite smoothly. And that happens, well, there's a prerequisite for it, that you need to be looking down when you do apply GVS. So if they had been looking up and we had applied GVS, they would have staggered. And that almost feels like somebody's pushing you. That doesn't feel comfortable. But this is fairly comfortable. You just turn towards the anodal direction quite smoothly. So we use this idea in building a two-person VR game, kind of like an escape the room VR game where there's one person who's in VR and they're in a dark room. They can't see anything, but they can hear things around them. And then the other person is using a tablet or a PC. And their task is to use GVS to steer the person in VR around obstacles, help them escape the room, right? So it's a collaborative game. So this is all well and good. It's all fun and it's pretty interesting. But what else can GVS do, right? Volta didn't stick electrodes in his ears just for the sake of doing so. What he wanted to do was see how stimulating the ear could be done electrically. He wanted to see how it would impact hearing. Similarly, other researchers in the 1800s, they also tried using vestibular stimulation to see if it would fix deafness or if it would cure other diseases of the ear. Now, doctors are starting to use vestibular stimulation for things like therapy, rehab, even for training, athletic training enhancement. Scientists are starting to use GVS, trying to see how really low levels of stimulation can actually impact higher order brain function. Things like tactile sensation, face recognition, and even memory. Right, so as a last thought, we all know that machines are getting smarter by the day, right? And what if we could evolve alongside the machines? Now, brain hacking has been a futuristic fascination for decades, but we all understand that actually fully understanding the brain is going to take many, many years of work. But with GVS, we can actually get started right now by building devices that can impact small parts of the brain, hack those little areas, just like the one we created. Thank you very much.
So, hacking the brain of the neuron monitoring. Because he's cold. I'm tired. So it goes on broadcasting. Here we go, we're back in again. Gaslighting, trap zone. I better put some heat on. There's weather's changing. So no monitoring. Oh. Getting really dark. Oh yeah. Never had monitoring, never thought it works like that. I know about satellites, but not the real ones. Yeah, me too. I heard about you extremely on the dark web. You told me to, Jules. It's dynamic. You sound awful to target the body, I can say. Oh, Jesus. So use your phones and all then. Mm. Flooding already hit the Isle of Wight as the Met Office. Right, let's have a look then. I wonder if I got it on it. What's UK mainstream media saying about the weather? I thought I'd be up. hacking everything now, are you? Bloody arseholes. I'll do it a different one, because you're just hacking everything. Heavy showers and self. Yellow warning in. Heavy showers, thunderstorms across southern areas, UK. Likewise, flooding becoming isolated. Southeast overnight. Also mostly dry, clear spells Tuesday. Another day, sunny spells, scattered showers. Few heavy in the south. Elsewhere during the afternoon, feeling warm with sunshine. East of England. Let's have a look. Oh, I bet Dave's on holiday. We'll get a washout. Huh. Hasn't got my location on it.
Hello and welcome to the latest forecast from the Met Office. Tuesday brings another day of bright spells for many, but hit and miss downpours in places as well. And where we are hit by those downpours, again, you'll certainly know about it because they'll be lively. Speaking of lively downpours, there's the risk through the rest of Monday of some very heavy thunderstorms and torrential downpours for central and southern parts of the UK, from the South Midlands, South East Wales into central southern England, parts of the West Country. Thunderstorm warning in force. These, once again, hit and miss. Not everyone will experience one, but where they do occur, there's that risk of localised flooding as well as difficult travel conditions. Otherwise, eventually overnight, any showers die away. Clear spells for many. Northern Ireland's keeping the cloud, I think, here. But where we get the clear skies, in urban areas, 10, 11, 12 Celsius. But in the countryside, given the light winds, temperatures dipping into the single figures and even towards the low single figures for sheltered parts of Scotland. So a chilly start here first thing, but plenty of sunshine for Scotland, Northern England, Wales, much of the south. However, thicker cloud for Northern Ireland, some showers here, 1 or 2 showers for Western Scotland, drifting their way east. Then, as the day warms up, the cloud will bubble up and further hit and miss downpours develop. Just about anywhere, but the main focus area for these showers will be parts of eastern and central England, I think, on Tuesday afternoon. Once more, the odd rumble of thunder with these showers in some of the heavier downpours, and perhaps the odd impact as well. But unlikely to be quite as impactful as Monday showers or as the showers that we're likely to see on Wednesday onwards. Temperatures up to 20, 21 Celsius in many places where you get the sunshine, so not a bad day if you manage to avoid those showers. And actually the Northern Isles seeing a fairly decent spell of weather over the next few days. Certainly brighter skies compared to much of last week. Clear skies then for many overnights with
16 degrees. Might just miss it. So what are the weather cams doing? Got frequencies still going. Got frequencies still going.
Loud. And when the fluid moves, the hair moves. And then the hair
that people can use to attack you and
Here we go. Skies that really like demonic. Still got people hopping around on the beaches. Don't they get it? The sky's caving in. Oh, I miss the noise.
Right, come and hit Granddad's on swimming duty. Cornish blackies
Thank you.
We went out some on one of those banana boats. Oh, you lost something? Quick some of this with the fire.
Well, because that's different countries, isn't it?
See you later.
Oh, they're closing in on each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, after a very exciting weekend of racing, of course we had that final, which is everything we would have hoped for right here in Plymouth. But shortly we'll have the presentation for our winners right there on our stage. So make sure you hang around for that. And afterwards we'll have DJ Mark Cavell playing with throughout the night. So the day is not over yet, and of course our winners would love to see all of you that come down to support them and cheer them as they collect their trophy.
Land all along.
Hey everybody. It is what day is it? It's Monday, I think. I think it's Monday. I'm pretty sure it's Monday. It's Monday. This is your boy Vulcan Wolverine. Hello, my boys, my girls. It's like about 2 o'clock. It's like 1:50 p.m. July the 2nd. No, August 2nd. 2021. I wanted to let everyone know real quick that just catches my YouTube videos. I got a strike on my channel for the last video that was deleted on YouTube, and so I was put in YouTube jail for a week, 7 days. And I had already had a BitChute channel, which is right here, and I created an Odyssey channel to do videos during the week that I was in YouTube jail. And I think now what I'm going to do is I'll be doing, videos about CV and Jab over there, and I'll be pulling out some articles, on what DARPA is creating. Things that I don't want to talk about now because I'm not sure like how much you can even talk about them right now. But here's my Odyssey channel, guys. It'll pull up. I don't have a lot of followers. I have a lot of views on BitChute, but not so many on Odyssey. BitChute, I'm doing really good, doing very, very well, and I appreciate everybody who subscribed and watches on BitChute. Odyssey is pretty good. I think I like okay, it's weird. I like BitChute better because more people are watching my videos, but I made a video and I tried to upload it, and it took me 2 days to even get into my channel. So BitChute, like, I guess so many people are using it, and it doesn't have enough bandwidth or something like that, but I get more views on there, so that's cool. And then Odyssey works all the time, but it seems like people haven't found their way over to Odyssey yet. But I just wanted to go over that real quick, just for people who didn't know. Sometimes I take a week off anyway, so maybe some people just thought, I hadn't made a video, but I actually got a strike, so I'm going to have to be pretty careful, and I have to archive my old videos, and then we'll go from there. Mainly what I'll be doing on this channel is talking about just, targeting activism, strategies for what we need to be doing to push this along. We're going to have to push it, right? God, the whole world is just, I'll talk about some of that. I had some goings on today that were kind of interesting. I don't know if I'll get to that on this video, but guys, somebody sent me this article from the McClatchy DC Bureau, Biden forming new panels of experts to study Havana syndrome. I was going to go over the article today, but it has a video on it. It has a video on there of an interview with Dr. Michael Hoffer. Now, he's the doctor in Miami who initially did the testing on the Cuban embassy workers. I think there was like 32 of them, they said, or something like that, initially, right? And then there were more and more people hit with it. And also, I went to see him. Many targeted individuals have been to see him, to see if they could get help from him. Now, he's given us like options like the noise canceling hearing aids and the noise canceling headphones. But he hasn't been able to write me anything where it's like, you are not mentally ill, you are a targeted individual, which is what I'm going to be emailing him. I'm going to be emailing his office to see if there's something that he can, if he can write back or some sort of bill of health, like this person is really experiencing this. He says some things. Well, let's start watching it, but I'll go ahead and I'll put the article in the description. And I just wanted to watch this video. What I'll do is I'll probably make another video about the actual article, right? But like, this is very, very interesting. The way that let me read this. Okay, so Michael E. Hoffer, MD at the University of Miami's Miller School of Medicine, talks about his team's research on the acute symptoms and clinical findings from the health incidents that affected U.S. diplomats in Havana. So this is an awesome thing, right? The awesome thing here is that a doctor that me and many other targeted individuals, and he was the one who first did testing on the Cuban embassy workers, he is on, you know, a new panel of experts, right? He's a scientist on there, and he knows that citizens are being hit with this stuff. That's the good news, right? He's a good man, too. That's the good news also. From what I'm seeing in this, I kind of want to say this at the beginning, it seems like he wants, because when he talked to me, he said, I go, is anybody trying to stop this? Because many citizens are being tortured. And he didn't say anything, and he kind of, you'll see him do this. He was like, yes. So he doesn't like what's going on. He's a moral man, but my concern is that, well, not my concern, but the way that he's probably going to go about it is going through proper channels. And you'll see some of the things that he says that like he's not happy about how this is being conveyed in the media, right? Let's start watching it. Let's start watching. I may do a little bit of commentary, guys. Let me do full screen. I'll put this article in the description. I'm feeling kind of okay. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better. Still being targeted. When I wake up, I'm real sore, and I think they're doing. I think now, since I'm feeling better from that infection being gone, it's like they're suffocating me in my sleep, which they weren't doing it so much. They were kind of letting the pain from that hurt me, but so I'll wake up and I feel like my chest hurts, and I feel like my whole body hasn't, like my muscles haven't been getting oxygen. One of the good things is though, for like when I was in a ton of pain, like such bad headaches from tension, muscle headaches and stuff, I couldn't really remember my dreams, and I couldn't even remember directed dreams that they gave me. But now I'm starting to actually have REM cycles where I woke up this morning and I remembered a dream, and it seemed like it was a random dream that I just had. I don't know. Some of it could have been directed because I have a lot of brain-to-computer interface with my human operators, and like I can be thinking a visual and they just put something in there. Let's get to this information, but you know, working my way up, we got to heal. We got to heal from this stuff, and we got to push. We've got some options. I'm looking into some things. I've got kind of let me not go into it. Let's just do this video right now, but I got a lot of stuff to talk about. Oh wait, hold on.
The leading author of this study presenting findings after examining at the University of Miami School of Medicine,
Let's start that.
35 U.S. employees and family members who were affected in Havana by an unknown source or said they were nearby this incident. So please help us first with a timeline. When did you treat these 35 individuals at UM?
Well, in February of 2017, I got a call that I'll never forget. Even though I was 21 years in the military, I'd never gotten this kind of call before.
So he works for the DOD. Like Michael Hoffer was 21 years in the military, and then he works for the DOD as a doctor, right? So they call him up, and he if they need his help, right, he goes and he helps, and he looked at the Cuban embassy workers. He still works for the DOD, right? But, you know, and that, to some people you may be like, oh man, well he's definitely not going to help us. But there are many people in the DOD, and there are many people in pretty much every organization, right, that are having, stuff is being decompartmentalized, and they're having problems, in moral problems with what's going on, right? And he seemed like a very moral man to me. It seems like his hands are tied in a lot of ways. I even question, I don't want to wait on this because I might forget it. I even question when he looked, because he looked in my, like he went up to my ears with the thing, and he did it real quick. He did it really quick, as if, like, I don't know what, I mean, I guess he's a professional. He does that all the time. But then he was saying, like, I don't have the exact same thing as the Cuban embassy workers, which was dizziness, vestibular. They may have had marks in their inner ears, which I don't know if I have those. But I was definitely had balance issues and vestibular system issues. So I kind of questioned him, like, could he even say, oh yeah, maybe he's not even allowed to say that targeted individuals look like that, right? To me personally, he said, I know you're targeted, you're just not targeted exactly how the Cuban embassy workers are. You know what I'm saying? I kind of questioned things about that, but he seemed like he was a truth teller. He seems like he wanted to help me, but his hands were tied a lot on it. But my hope is that these good men will. He's going to try and do it through the proper channels, which is a concern for me. He's going to be concerned about this and saying, and listen to what he says. Let's go on with the video, and I want to show you all something he says that's really cool.
And it said, Dr. Hoffer? And I said, yes. They said, this is the State Department. We have a problem. And we found out about an individual that complained that heard a loud noise and felt some pressure phenomenon. That one individual was the index case. There were many more individuals that started complaining over the course of the next several months, and we agreed to see all of them here at the University of Miami.
And that happened between March and...
It happened between March and maybe mid-June of 2017.
And what about the other 105 embassy employees that are mentioned on the study? Yeah. When did you saw them?
At some point, there was a concern that more people may be affected, and the U.S. Embassy wanted individuals, even those who had not felt any pressure or had not heard any sound, they wanted someone to come down and examine them and talk with them.
So there's been a lot of reports and a lot of chatter. Can we talk at this point of a Havana syndrome? And if so, what are its symptoms?
Well, we don't talk about a syndrome because a syndrome has a very specific medical diagnosis. So as the paper says, it's a vestibular and cognitive dysfunction. And we don't apply the words to Havana to it because although it occurred initially in Havana, who knows, if it will be elsewhere.
Did you see that? Did you guys see that? We don't call it a syndrome because it has certain vestibular qualities, right? And then he's like, and we don't put it in Havana because it could be happening elsewhere. Did you see that? Did you guys see that? He knows. This doctor who is on an expert panel, he has been seeing citizens who he is sure are targeted. So he knows, and he's a good man. Do you see how clenched up he is in this interview? Do you see how clenched up he's clenched up? Like I watch him, like I talked to him, and he was like, I mean, he wasn't just like partying or whatever, but this is he's clenched up. Maybe he's nervous because it's like a television interview or whatever. However, I think that he has to stick to a script, right? I mean, because he's been seeing citizens who have this, and he doesn't want to screw up and say that, right? He doesn't want to say anything that is not, that his chain of command doesn't want him to say. And he does have a chain of command. But the thing that I have hope in is that they run these things up the flagpole, that some of these people become whistleblowers. We have a lot of generals and corporals and lieutenants and everything speaking out, and more and more of those people are going to speak out. But I think even within the DOD and some of these organizations, there are soldiers and scientists and doctors who are very upset at what's going on. And they're trying to change things within the system. I don't know how that'd be hard. Let's watch a little bit more of it, but I think that's very awesome that Dr. Hoffer is like, we don't call it Havana syndrome because it's neither a syndrome and it's neither relegated to Havana. And the kind of face that he had there was just beautiful right there. So, let me go back now.
If it will be elsewhere.
Can you recall the worst patient you saw?
We don't speak of any specific patient.
I'm not making sense.
But what about the symptoms? Just to give our readers an idea.
Many of the individuals complained, like the first individual, of number one, initially either hearing an odd noise, or of feeling a pressure phenomenon. Yes. And they then, if they...
And I want to say this. I want to say this, too, about my personal targeting. When I was first overtly targeted, where I knew I was being attacked, it was high-pitched sound, like high-pitched sound in the ears, but it sounded like it was more in my head, right? The high-pitched sound more sounded like it was in my head, but it was actually, you know, going down to my inner ears, and my head felt like it was going to explode all the time. I wasn't having external hits right away. I was having gang stalking, the high-pitched sound, and my head felt like it was going to explode. That was for like 2 months, and then I moved to the next apartment, and it started to feel like somebody was, it felt like this. I don't think this is what it was, but it felt like somebody was just shooting a stream of energy into my face. So I was having heat on my face, like just on my face, not on my body, but like it felt like somebody was shooting a stream of energy to my head, and it was like the same headache, high-pitched sound.
Okay. Gaslighting. 10:30.